Hey folks, this is Derek with Reef Automation. This is a video I've been waiting to do for quite a while. I've had some requests to do it, so I thought it'd be fun to show you my reptile room, specifically what I'm doing with the HYDROS and what I'm doing with most of my automation in here. For those that aren't interested in reptiles, I think it's still nice to see what I'm doing with the HYDROS and other things you can do with it. So to get started, we're going to go through all the tanks. We're going to go through what's in there and go through some of the basics of the reptiles that I have, and I also have amphibians as well. And then we'll go through how I'm doing the HYDROS and how I'm doing some of the more advanced automation in this system. So we'll start here with the lower left. This is my dart frog enclosure. I have 3 dart frogs. You should be able to see one right there. And there's a couple littler ones back down there. Next to it, I have my day gecko. You can see her back behind there. Try to zoom in a little bit so you can see her. So that's my day gecko. So both of these tanks run off of the same misting system, which is also hooked up to the HYDROS. I do have a basking bulb on this tank just for heat for the gecko. All of the tanks have an LED and UVB combined system. So if you take a look at this one, you can see it's got an LED and a UVB bulb combined into one fixture. It's quite convenient for reptiles that require UVB, and even the ones that don't require it, it's still a convenient fixture because everything's built in. It also has the reds to grow plants. So in these 2 tanks, I have real plants. These are grown and I have to cut them from time to time. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, you can see the misting nozzle. Each one of my tanks have a misting nozzle. So we'll move over to the 3rd tank here. The 3rd tank is my Crested Geckos. I have 3 of them. They have a very large tank here. This is roughly 36 inches wide by 24 inches tall by 18 inches deep. And these 2 are 18 inches wide but have the same dimensions as this, as you can see. This one doesn't have any type of basking bulbs or any type of additional bulbs. It just has the LED and UVB. You will also see that this has 2 misting nozzles back there. And this is the Crested Gecko enclosure. I'm trying to see if I can find them, but they sleep during the day. So right above that, I have another roughly the same size. This is a little bit shorter. It's about 18 inches. This is a corn snake. You won't be able to see him right now, but in the corn snake enclosure, very similar. There's a couple nozzles over there. This is my Mexican black king snake, and I can't see him out either. Most of these snakes you don't see during the day. And then right above them, we have another tank. And this is my Leopard gecko tank. Both the Mexican black and the Leopard gecko don't get misted because they don't really need humidity. In all of these tanks, you will see that I have this blue sensor right here. And this is a Sensorpush sensor. And what it does is it does humidity and temperature. I have one in every single tank. Some of them are hidden a little bit better than others. You can see there's one right there. You can see in this one, it's hiding behind the tree back there. And what those do is they will indicate all day long what the humidity and the temperature will do. You can also set them up to alert you if the temperature or humidity is out of whack in the particular enclosure. Now, if you come over here to my wall, you will see all of my animals, and I have the humidity and the temperature. And what I've done is if the humidity is too low for that particular species, the humidity will light up in red. And if it's too high, it'll light up in red. Same thing with the temperature. If the temperature is too low, it'll light up in blue, and the temperature will light up in red if it's too high. So I'm able to monitor all of them using these sensors. So in these sensors, which are in every single one of the tanks, they go to a server using a little antenna, which I can show you up here. If you look above here, there's the antenna, and that antenna is hooked up to my network, which then connects to my Crestron system, and I'm able to monitor all of that information. And that's how essentially these all work. So all of these tanks that have misters on them, I have tubing that connects to all of them. All of the tubing then comes back behind here and then comes behind my two larger enclosures, which we'll go through these enclosures as well. But then that tubing then comes back behind here, all the way back to my enclosures over here, okay? And we'll go through those as I get to them. Both of these tanks, the snake tanks, have under the tanks, they have heaters to keep them warm. That's what these are. These are called herbstats. All of the lights are hooked up to a surge protector. Every single one of the lights here and every single tank are hooked up to surge protector, which is right here. And if you go under here, you can see my lighting surge protector right there. And then next to it is my HYDROS plug. That HYDROS plug hooks up to the surge protector, which then hooks up to multiple surge protectors throughout the system. And whenever I turn off the HYDROS, it turns off all the lights in every single enclosure all at once for me, because most of these tanks require the same amount of lighting. So I have them on, I believe, a 12-hour cycle, and they will shut off all of the lights in the entire room all at once using the HYDROS. So in this tank, I have a ball python. I don't see him right now either. He sleeps during the day, but he's got a lot of misters. He's got some misters back there, a mister up there. And again, they're all tied to the same RO tube that I was just mentioning. I just tee off on them. And then here on the bottom one is my Ackie monitor. You can probably see him. He comes out during the day quite a bit. So there he is. And he has a little bit of misting, but they don't need a lot of misting. He's got some heat bulbs that are on all the time. And again, all of the tanks are using the same thing. They're using the LED and UVB fixture combo. So if we go to my next one, this is my Chameleon. The Chameleon has a tank that is a screen tank because they need a little more ventilation. Same setup though. He's got a basking bulb, LED, same thing. Misters right here. See if I could find him so you can see him, but for those that aren't familiar with chameleons, they are very good at hiding. So if you see them, great. If you don't, then sorry about that, but they hide during the day as well. So again, that's another tube that comes over here. The Chameleon needs a lot more misting than the rest of the tank. So if we come over to here, to where I have my frogs, these are Mantella Frogs up top. You can probably see one right there. Again, it has a mister, same basic setup. Frogs don't need UVB, so these are just basic LEDs that I'm doing. And these are tree frogs in here, which are nocturnal as well, so you won't see them. So here's where all the magic happens. If you come below the tree frogs, you will see that I have two solenoids here, and I have a big line coming in from the wall. This is where I run my HYDROS. I believe it's a X2. It has two drive ports on it, and it drives my solenoids for my misting system. So what I do is the misting system will turn on, those solenoids will open depending on where I want to send the water. In this case, one of the solenoids does all the frogs and the high humidity, and then the second one does the Chameleon. The Chameleon, like I said, requires a lot different humidity schedule. I can add as many solenoids as I want over here to divert water to the specific systems, and that'll give me the humidity that I want. So again, this is my reptile room, and what I'm doing with the HYDROS. We're going to go into the garage where I have my feeder pumps and what I'm doing with the HYDROS next. Okay, so now if we go in the garage, you can kind of get a general idea of what I'm doing. So here's that mister pump that comes with the misting system. It's called a Mistking, and that's hooked up to my main huge RO bin here. So I don't have to worry about, you know, running out of water in that system, because this is always filling for my fish tanks. And then what I do is I have that hooked up right to another HYDROS outlet. Now you're probably saying, okay, well, why is it hooked up into your NEPTUNE system as well? So my NEPTUNE system has all of my leak sensors. So if there's ever a leak, it's gonna kill the misting system along with, you know, the rest of the system here in case there's a leak. So that's why I'm running it into the NEPTUNE as well. What's really nice about this is I have one misting pump that's then run through the attic going into my reptile room to feed the misters. And I don't have to worry about anything because it's just on one HYDROS smart plug. And I can set up the timers however I want because I'll just have the misting pump turn on and open a solenoid depending on where I want to divert the water. Now I also have another HYDROS up here, and this just does my TDS for my entire main RO system. So that's basically my reptile room. It's quite simple. You really just need to do misting and lights, but I'm really giving the HYDROS a lot of cool things to work with for myself. I got some other things I'm going to be adding to the reptile room, and we'll see what I do. But for now, that's what I'm doing in the reptile room. And I really hope you like this video. I know a lot of people have been asking about how I'm doing it. If you want to see more videos like this, or you want me to just show you individual species and what I'm doing with them, just let me know in the comments. But I thought it'd be cool to kind of see what the HYDROS can do other than aquariums. So again, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, just go ahead and subscribe by hitting the subscribe button and the bell. And I look forward to giving you more videos and doing some more live streams and more giveaways and all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.